G'day ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Shazraz, and today we're going to be watching 10 rules you'll break in Australia without knowing. Now, me being from Australia and currently living in Australia, I think I'll have a verdict on whether or not these are unwritten rules that we follow or if it's complete baloney. This video by Sam Ford, please go check him out. It was a great video. Please go subscribe, like, and while you're doing that, please like and subscribe to my channel as well. Without further ado, let's get on to the video. Big thanks to Sam Ford for making this video for us to react to. Thank you very much. You guys should go check him out. And let's get on with it.
There's a reason Australians can spot a tourist from over 100 meters away. It's not the accent, it's not the clothes,
it's our amazing eyesight. 100% 20/20 vision all the way. And that's why I have to wear glasses, of course.
the unwritten rules, like what you eat for dinner, or the particular way you like to say thank you, or even how you behave when someone says to you the word Onya.
It's funny because I don't think people realize how much the small things like there are, like when it comes to not even just Australian culture, but just like cultures in general. Like you go to America and, you know, me as being an Australian, there's so many things that I do unconsciously or subconsciously that is considered very weird in America. Not that I've ever been, but just watching, you know, other people who've been there and, you know, I've got friends in America. It's really funny to sort of start picking up on the small and tiny things that make up the culture of a place.
These are the 10 secret rules that most tourists break without even realizing it, and if you want to fit in and not get awkward stares like I did when I got here, then this is your cheat sheet. G'day, neighbor.
Shut up, you bum.
That's pretty. No one here says hey neighbor. Yeah, us Aussies, we just tend to like just generalize everything. You know, you're just a mate, you're a person, you know, whether or not you're a neighbor, we're a workplace, you know, we work in the same workplace, or, you know, we're coming across each other on the run, it's mate, and it makes things so much easier.
Of course, these aren't actual laws. If you break them, you're not going to get sent to jail, but they're just things that are either frowned
Might get sent to social jail
upon or a bit awkward. So in this video, we're going to learn a few things, we're going to laugh at a few things, and let's get into number one, which is swearing for no reason. It has been a stereotype for decades now that Aussies, they will just throw out the most extreme profanity because that's what they do.
It's really just a roll of the tongue. You know, we grow up and, you know, our parents are swearing for no reason, our friends are swearing for no reason, you know, people that we look up to are swearing for no reason in Australia. It's just literally like we've grown up around it and it just rolls off the tongue. And I see like a lot of things, like other cultures and other people like America, who they say, oh, Aussies can get away with swearing so much easier because it sounds in a sing-songy way, which, you know, looking at it a way American speaks, which is very enunciated, you know, that was British. Enunciated, and everything sounds very sharp. I think that's how things can come off differently, because in Australia it's just more, we sort of slur a whole sentence together. Like it's just easier for us to slur an entire sentence together. And then when you just pick up like a random profanity word in there, you just don't even notice it.
That's the culture. You know, I've even mentioned in a previous video, don't be shocked when you hear swearing from Australians, and lots of Aussies were gracious enough to reply to that video, and they say, yes, some of us like to swear, but not all of us. I know
that is also true. I mean, you're gonna have people who don't like swearing, of course, in general. But as a rule of thumb in Australia, it's more so culturally acceptable, and it's more so common. I mean, like you got kids who swear in schools all the time, and you know they still get told off for it. I mean, I did it in school, but it's not like, you know, you're gonna get the cane or something like that. Like it's not like a high tier of thing, like a rule to break, you know, because everyone does it. Teachers do it.
this sounds like common sense, but let's be honest, if you're not from Australia, you do grow up with a Hollywood version of Australia, like the movie Australia.
Welcome to Australia.
And you think, oh,
There's a movie called Australia. Hang on, I need to look this up. There's actually literally a movie called Australia. I didn't even know that.
oh, that's how the country is in the 21st century, and it's just not. So read the room. It's contextual and it's strategic. You don't just walk into a new group of people and start throwing around the F-bomb and thinking everyone's going to be like, oh, you're our mate now, come here, come.
I wish that's how it worked. Things would be so fucking hilariously easy.
So whatever you do, read the room. Don't think that because you watch that Hollywood movie about Australia where everyone's dropping the C-bomb that it's cool to do. It might not be, and it might really, really embarrass you. Even if you're a tourist for a couple of weeks, coming away from it, having made a few Aussie mates is awesome, and Australians are very open to communicating and becoming friends with you.
Yeah, that's also another thing. It's like, yeah, it's normal to say the C word a lot, but at the same time, there's different contexts for the C word. Like it can be an endearment or it can be an insult. Again, it really is just about reading the room, as Sam Ford is just saying. But it's literally just about whether or not you're in the company of friends, family, or complete strangers, right? You know, you're going to have some level of decency and decorum when you're talking to someone for the first time, but it's usually after when those barriers have been broken down and maybe you know each other and you're friends, you start relaxing and you can just, you know, as I said before, it just rolls off the tongue.
But they're less likely to if you're trying too hard at being someone that you're not. And while we're here, give the video a like, or I'll tell every Aussie I know that Foster's is your favourite beer. I'm joking, I won't really.
How dare you? I have to now. Really good video so far, though. You guys should subscribe.
Really? Or will I? Number 2 is always thank bus
And while you're at it, subscribe to my channel too, please.
drivers and service staff. Of course, this doesn't just go for buses. In Australia, just like where I grew up in the UK, Cheltenham, Gloucestershire, you thank the bus driver. It's very rude not to. It's also good that when you get onto the bus, if you're getting on from the front, you tap your card, say hello to the bus driver. If you get onto a very quiet bus and you feel like there's lots of eyes on you, especially because you're in a new country, and I get it, it's a bit scary.
The thing here is not even just bus drivers, it's literally anyone and anywhere who works in the service industry. Like, we're talking about waiters, we're talking about cashiers, bus drivers, taxi drivers. It's literally just, I think people in Australia have been brought up to, it's just good manners. It's just good manners. You know, you say please and thank you. It's bare minimum. But I mean, think of it this way. Like, if you're in a situation where you're providing a service to someone, even out of necessity for a job, you want to feel as if you're actually maybe doing something, right? And how the minimal way for someone else to show gratification is literally saying please and thank you. And it's not going to change your life. It's not going to brighten your day. Maybe it does for some, but it's literally just, it makes things easier because it doesn't feel like you're a robot. It doesn't feel as if, I don't know, like, I guess in a way you feel more human. Like, it's so dehumanizing when, you know, say a server and, you know, you got someone who's rude as all hell and they're just saying, waiter, come here, you know, like that type of stuff. No please, no thank you, demand me right now, serve me right now. It's not a very nice thing to experience when you're on the receiving end of that. It's literally just a common courtesy here.
Feel like you've got the spotlight on you and all the local Aussies are looking at you and thinking, oh, that's a tourist, that's a tourist. Well, just like the spotlight effect talks about, this isn't really happening. It's generally in your head. And saying hello and saying thank you to the bus driver for their service is a really good thing to do. And honestly, if you want to fit in here, Aussies will think you're a bit of a legend if you do that. This isn't.
Yeah, it's the funny thing is about what he's talking about the spotlight. Like, if you're so self-conscious that, like, I need to say please and thank you to the bus driver out of necessity to fit in, you're doing the right things for the wrong reasons. I think you should just say please and thank you because you want to say please and thank you. Like, you're glad that they're providing the service and you're grateful for them for providing it. It's the same thing as just like, you would like for the bus driver to say hello, goodbye. Like, it shouldn't be so transactional. It should just be a normal occurrence in a way, you know? And again, with the spotlight effect, the majority of the time, 99% of people, if you're going on public transport, are not looking at you. We've got phones, we've got earphones, we've got tablets, laptops now. Generally, people are too busy looking down, you know, like this, you know, they're hitting the Rumpelstiltskin or the Hunchback of Notre Dame to look at their phones. And they're too busy looking at their favorite YouTuber. Yeah, so generally no one's looking at you. No one gives a damn, basically.
To say, though, that if you take the seat near the bus driver that they want to chat to you while they're working. No, you know, keep some boundaries there. And the same goes for any of the passengers on the bus. They might not want to chat to you as well. And when you tap your card to leave the bus, definitely say thank you. It's really important to do. This isn't something that you just do on the bus here. You'll definitely do it on any domestic flights that you take in Australia. If you go to cities where there's ferries as public.
Yeah, air hostesses are a great example. Like, you say please and thank you to an air hostess. You sure they're doing a job, but they're doing the job, you know.
Public transport like Sydney or my home, which is Brisbane, then definitely thank the ferry staff, especially as you'll be passing them face to face. It's just awkward if you don't. So remember that, and you'll have a good time here.
Another thing that he brings up, like, you know, about sitting behind the bus driver, they're gonna, you know, they think they're gonna want to talk to you or whatever. Generally, no. But then it's funny when it comes to taxis and Ubers here. I didn't know this until like a couple of weeks ago, but apparently people who drive in Ubers in other countries such as America, they don't sit in the front seat, or like if there's one person or multiple people, because they don't want to have a conversation. Whereas like here in Australia, if you're you know, asking for an Uber and then you drive, like they come out, you sit in the passenger seat, and even if you don't talk to them, even if you don't talk to the Uber driver, you sit in the passenger seat. You could literally be doing your own thing. But it's a lot more socially acceptable to engage in conversation with strangers here in Australia, I think, because of, I don't know, we don't have a lot of stigma about everyone wants to kill you type thing, you know. Which I'm not saying that other places do, but because that's an extreme case, but it's literally just about common courtesy, you know. I think one big factor is that if you sit in the back of an Uber and you're the only person in there, it's more so, it can be seen as like, I'm better than you, or I'm too high and mighty to talk to you or sit next to you, or you're just providing a service, so like I don't see you as a person. That could be overthinking it like a lot. But at the same time, I think that's probably what strays some people in the direction of sitting into the passenger seat as a cultural thing, because they're afraid of it getting misinterpreted as that, you know?
And just a quick one, apparently 98% of you who watch these videos regularly aren't even subscribed yet. So if you are enjoying this, hit that subscribe button. Really helps me to
subscribe
keep
to
these videos
Sam Ford.
coming. Let's get back into it.
Great video already. I have to subscribe.
Number 3, don't litter. You might think this is common sense, but it's still really important to say. This is frowned upon hard. Not only are there steep fines if you get caught, but Australians and Australia as a whole, they really care about their agriculture, their ecosystem, their wildlife. And you should too, because you'll...
It's honestly just a shitty thing to do. Like, in a way, like, even if someone who doesn't, who like, if, yeah, we care about our environment and whatnot, but you see, like, I've seen people do this as well. Like, you're driving behind someone, you see them roll down their window, and then they just like chuck a cardboard box, or they chuck like an empty McDonald's packet or a chip packet or something like that. And you just have such disdain. It just makes you, it just gives you an idea of what kind of person they are, straight up. It still gives you that idea of what kind of person that person is. And generally, you don't really want to be associated with a person like that, who just litters for no good reason. And I know it's like it's a small thing, but in my head, it's a clear sign of little care for things that don't directly affect them. You don't really want to have that kind of person around in your community or in your friend group per se. At least that's how I think of it.
Stepping into somebody else's home at the end of the day, even if you're only here for a temporary amount of time, you wouldn't walk into your mate's house with muddy shoes, trample mud all over it onto their lovely cream carpet, and then drop a cigarette end on the floor. So don't do that in Australia. I mean, you can wear muddy shoes in Australia, just don't do the cigarette bit. But
yeah, you can wear muddy shoes in Australia. Hell, you don't even have to wear shoes. Like, it's so socially acceptable to go walking around in like Midland or Coles, which is for the American audience, which is like a Walmart or that's the only American supermarket franchise I know. Yeah, it's sort of like that. You can literally walk around with no shoes. If you're on the beaches, you can walk around with no shirt. No one cares. No one bats an eye. It's just normal.
The reason why I said this at the start is that it's common sense, is that there is no excuse. If you get told off for littering, you cannot reply with, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that was a thing here. I don't know of many countries where it's okay to freely litter. So ignorance is not an excuse for breaking the law. Do not litter. And depending how brave you are, my best mate back in the UK, if he sees someone litter, he will go and pick up their litter, run over to them and go, oh, sorry, mate, I think you've dropped this, and act completely innocent to witnessing them litter. And usually they get...
I think stuff like that is hilarious. Like when you catch people in the act of doing something that they know they shouldn't, because they don't think anyone's going to confront them. I think that stuff is hilarious and satisfying, because you always see the look on their faces and they're shocked and confused, and maybe they're you know, extremely apologetic, and it's like, no, mate, you know what you were doing. Like, come on, have some balls, own up to it, say you're sorry, move on.
Get a bit embarrassed and they go, oh, thank you, and they take it back, and they do end up throwing it in the bin. Don't feel like you need to do that. You're not employed by the council to. So respect
Obviously
Australia, and it will respect you. You put positive energy out there, you will get it back tenfold. Rule
It's all about the vibes, man. It's all about the vibes.
number 4, don't skip the sunnies. What I have.
Oh, dude, even as a kid, I completely disregarded sunglasses up until like maybe 3 years ago when I lived in Queensland. The sun in Queensland is so much brighter than it is in WA and in Perth. But at the same time, you are going to have a hard time, and you are going to like develop probably wrinkles from like squinting, like, you know, you're an old person trying to read the back of a pill bottle. You need sunglasses here. And the funny thing is, you will end up getting a tan line from your sunglasses if you're outside enough.
Learned from a previous commenter on a video is that when they went to their optometrist, they said to them, make sure that you wear sunglasses because otherwise it can cause cataracts, which isn't really something that you want. And the thing,
I think like I read something a few years ago. I think cataracts is actually quite high, and a lot of optical diseases are quite high in Australia, like cataracts, glaucoma, all that type of stuff, just because of the, I want to say, quality of the sun. It sounds weird, but like, do you sort of get what I mean when I say that, you know?
thing about Australia is it's in a part of the world where the UV is very, very high. It's not the same as in the UK,
the UV of
where
the sun.
our UV on some days only gets as high as 1 or 2. No, in Australia it can get up to 13 or more. What I would highly recommend you do in the most convenient way possible in your environment to track the UV while you're in Australia. For example, if you have a smartwatch, I've got an Apple Watch, I have a tiny little complication dial in the corner that has the live UV. Basically, anything above 3 is...
But if you're from somewhere like the UK, you know, pasty white type ordeal, you're definitely going to want sunglasses, and you're definitely going to want sunscreen. That is just like 100% no exception.
You need to be more sun safe. Ideally, don't go outside, but I know we've all got lives to live. So if you do go outside, you need your sunglasses, you need your sunscreen, and ideally wear long sleeve clothing to protect you even more. It's really important that when you get a pair of sunglasses, make sure they are UV protected. They're not just a fashion statement, they will secure the longevity of your eye health for many years to come. Rule number...
It is really true when they say everything in Australia wants to kill you, even the sun does. Even the sun is an unholy beam of UV and radiation that is just upon us all day.
Number 5, don't touch random plants. Now, I think it's...
That is a lesson you will learn very quickly. Especially if you're around the bushland of Australia. There are so many poisonous plants out here.
Common sense to not go around touching the animals, but also a lot of areas in Australia are protected. So if you go around picking plants up, Aussies aren't going to be very happy with you. I always learn when I was at school doing, you know, camping trips and things like that, the teachers would always tell us the only thing you should be taking from a place you visit is pictures. Also, many plants in Australia that are horrible in the sense of that they could hospitalize you.
Yeah, that is completely true.
Visually gorgeous, visually stunning, but there's plants like the gimpy plant, and you can find this plant.
This plant just looks like a bay leaf or something. But even there's something like if you look at that, there's something sickly about it. No, like it's got white splotches. Like it either looks off or it looks diseased, and that is more than an apt description of it.
All the way from northern Queensland right down to New South Wales, and basically it's a plant, it kind of looks a little bit like a UK stinging nettle, but with much larger leaves, and it has these tiny silica needles that when you touch them, it injects venom into your skin, and it is so painful. I say that as if I've experienced it. I've never touched that. As soon as I found out about this, I'm like, I'm never touching that in my entire life. Of course, there's many plants out there, like anywhere, that, you know, are completely harmless, but I just wanted to use the gimpy plant as a specific example.
Very Aussie name as well, gimpy, because we could not be bothered trying to think of a name
of how dangerous the plants can be here. So when in doubt, hands off the flora. If you want a nice bunch of flowers, go to your local florist and then, you know, put a bit of money into the community. Now, I have to be honest, there were plenty of times here where I thought maybe I'd never fit in. Felt like maybe I'm a bit too...
Okay, so he went through an existential crisis while living in Australia. He had his midlife Australia living crisis.
British, a bit too like awkward and stiff sometimes. It's also that sort of feeling of seeing, you know, like Aussie blokes talk to each other in their like really cool Queenslander accents, and the conversation just seems to flow a bit more naturally.
You know what's funny? Like, there is this odd misconception that Australians and conversations flow all too easy. And you want to know why? You want to know why all of our conversations flow so easy? It's because we always talk about the exact same thing every single time. There is a line of questioning and there is a lineup of questions and answers that will be said basically nearly every time you talk to someone that isn't a close friend of yours. It's, "G'day mate, how are you? I'm alright. Yourself? Oh yeah, not too bad." You know, it's literally, this can go on for like a whole ass minute of just pre-cutscene conversation. Like, I'm not even kidding. You could go out and watch any two people who don't know each other and have a conversation in Australia, and they will nearly all the time say the exact same thing, unless you're starting the conversation with a specific topic, like, "Oh fuck this," like, "Oh, this line is long A," or something like that. It will eventually devolve into that conversation. Like, it is always there. And it's just, I think it's more of like a scapegoat for Australians, because I think a lot of us are actually more socially awkward than other people give ourselves credit for. It's literally just because we follow this, literally, let's call it like the 10 commandments of Australian speech. I don't know what all 10 are. So it's more like, probably more like 5 commandments of Australian speech or Australian conversation.
And, you know, I'm not the most masculine man, as a lot of you know. If I'm being totally honest. So there were moments like that, but then I sit down with an Aussie mate. I sit down with, you know, Aussie.
It's so funny hearing other people say Aussie mate, even people from who are British. They go like, "Mate." Mate.
Aussie relatives, or even like my mechanic who just did my service the other day, and they are so warm, they are so welcoming, and they're teaching me so much about not trying to force surface level small talk for the sake of, you know, looking polite, but actually connecting with someone.
Yeah, see, as I said before, there is like the 10 commandments of Australian conversation, but at the same time, it's a lot easier to connect with someone who's in Australia or who adopts Australian values, just because there's not this need or stigma to be and look cool, which I hear is like a big problem in a lot of social circles in America and maybe even the EU, is that looking and being cool is like a #1 priority for a lot of these people, which I don't understand. I think you're being cool if you're trying to act and be cool and you're not actually cool, then you're cringe. Like, it's just, it can come across to me as cringy. In a way, you might meet this person again. So again, why would you want to give this person a false front? There is no logical explanation for that, in my opinion.
On a down-to-earth level, being actually interested in someone, and to me it just gets rid of all that social judgment that I have felt so heavily growing up in the UK, and you feel loved and appreciated here. I get this soppy in every video these days, what's wrong with me? But yeah, every mistake I have made here has never been met with hate or criticism. It's been met with a bit of a smile, a bit of banter, but then a pat on the back saying, "Mate, you're becoming one of us. You're becoming an Aussie." It makes me a bit emotional, honestly.
Yeah, it's having this understanding. I think that a lot of Australians like have this value that they hold. It's letting go of mistakes, and I feel like it's really hard to, for other people to do that nowadays. Like, if you make a mistake on the internet, people will never let you forget it. Like, it happens all the time, you know. Even things you didn't do, it happens all the time. In Australia, I feel like people don't hold that over your head because it's a mistake. You didn't do it on purpose, and it's just about moving on and maybe not doing it again.
Because that's really lovely. Anyway, rule number 6. Don't talk someone's ear off. Remember when we were talking about having lovely conversations with Aussies?
I cannot stand, especially if it's a person that I've met for the first time, when they just talk and talk and talk about nonsense. Like, I get it. Maybe you want to share something that you're interested in, and I'm all for that, but you're not letting me get a word in or change the subject or anything like that. I'm not going to hold it over your head. I'm just going to think about it.
They love to connect with you and to make a new friend, but there is a point where it's okay to sit in silence with your new Aussie mate, and that's okay. Don't fill the space with small talk about the weather. It's boring. That's something British people do, okay? If you're in Australia, you can be an Aussie and you don't need to fill that silence.
It's funny, even when I'm driving in the car with my friends, there are times where we don't talk for like 10 minutes or maybe even longer. We're just sitting. Like, it could be me driving, could be my friend driving, and we're just sitting, listening to music. I like that. I like that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Because if you're just talking about random bullshit, you're going to run out of A, things to talk about, and B, the conversation's not going to go anywhere. It's going to feel flat and boring.
So read the room. Aussies sometimes value a bit of quiet over constant chatter. Honestly, family occasions in the UK, like our traditional Boxing Day event with my mum's side of the family, if I, had a bit of chat with everyone and then was quiet for most of the day, I'd probably get quite a few family members coming up to me and go, Sam, are you okay? Because in the UK, we sort of present to each other we're doing okay with constant chatter. But in Australia, I'll go to a family event, and if I want to be quite quiet for most of the day, everyone's fine with it. They don't bat an eyelid, really. And that's not because Aussies don't care. No, they do care, but they just understand that not everybody wants to talk all the time. Honestly, it's a relaxing thing. It's a relaxing thing, not...
I feel like it's more of a... We let people be who they want to be without any of the social pressures that are, especially on the internet, places like Twitter. It's just, you be who you are, and everyone is fine with that. And in a way, in a heartfelt way that we care, but we don't care. We don't care. Like, I know it sounds bad. Being able to sit in silence with your own thoughts, or being able to sit in a room with other people and not have to feel as if you have to carry a conversation, make a conversation, be interesting all of the time. Not having that feeling is very freeing and relaxing. It allows you to be able to actually talk freely, maybe flow a conversation. There's no front, there's no mask, there's just people in a room having a conversation. And if you don't want to talk, people are fine with that too. They're just happy that you're there, and they're just happy that you're listening.
Not having that social pressure on you. Rule number 7, don't insult New Zealanders. I've had many...
See, I don't even know if this is a rule, because we generally just don't really insult many people, other than if we're joking, of course. But like, New Zealanders are just Australians as well, in a way. Like, they're just a little guy at the bottom of the country that's a few hundred kilometers away. We just count them as Australians too.
Any an Aussie comment on videos. Not that I haven't been, don't worry, I haven't been insulting any New Zealanders.
Have you been racist?
Australians have told me only Aussies can insult Kiwis and vice versa. It's like sibling rivalry. It's like a sibling relationship. If someone outside...
Then again, like, there's not many times where I've found the situation where I want to make fun of Kiwis or vice versa. I feel like that's a very small percentage of the time. And it have to be something very specific.
Of those communities does so, then it just looks a bit tacky, really. So this isn't to try and, push you out of the group of, welcome to Australia. But, if you haven't grown up in Australia, if you're not culturally Australian, it's best to hold off on the very pointed, harsh banter towards Kiwis. So rule number 8, don't tell Aussies their slang is wrong.
I've not been a victim of this. I've seen it happen, but I get secondhand embarrassment when I watch people like tell them that it's stupid or it's weird or it's like bad. Like, come on. Slang is everywhere. Every culture, every language has its slang. How is ours wrong,
Arvo, servo, devo, botolo, and Aussies, I have to admit, when my Australian wife Maddie was teaching me a few different Aussie slang words, I did find some of them a little bit funny. And look,
they're funny and they're confusing to someone who hasn't been here. We literally just like to shorten everything and then add like a consonant or a vowel at the end of it. That's basically it.
If you're not Aussie or if you've never been here, you might hear some Aussie slang and You might think it's a little bit silly, but don't criticize them about it. It's part of the culture. Again, it's that same thing. You don't come into someone else's house and then critique all of the art they have on their walls, or critique what sort of couch they've got, or
no, because you end up feeling and looking like an asshole.
What TV they've picked. So correcting them, it doesn't land well. Just roll with it. You'll have a much better time here. And remember, you're in their house, so speak their language. It's not hard. Rule number 9 is don't eat out super late. Not because it's a crime, but more so because you physically can't. So I'm speaking specifically.
Lots of, especially pubs here, their kitchens close at 8 p.m. and you are not getting any food. That's pubs and bars, really. And then you got, there are 20, but the most places that you're going to be able to eat out that are like a ridiculous times, like fast food places that are 24-hour. And yeah, unless you're drunk, you kind of probably want something else.
With my experience here in Brisbane, a lot of kitchens close quite early. We're talking like 9 or 10 p.m. And,
yeah, exactly.
To Aussies, that might sound quite late, but if you have grown up in Europe like I did, lots of kitchens are open quite a lot later. If you go to France, if you go to Spain, the kitchens are open very late. I mean, the Spanish, famously, they don't start eating until like 9 or 10. And I felt this very hard. I've been working far too late one night, editing my videos. It's got to 10 p.m. and I've said to Maddie, oh, it's late. Should we just go out to eat? And she'll go, where? There's literally nowhere you can go.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, do you want to go out to eat? It's like, where it's 11 p.m. Where do you want to go? Like, unless it's like Macca's or something.
Right now, apart from 7-Eleven, don't learn the hard way. You don't want to go a night hungry. You don't want your little tummy to be rumbling while you're in your bed. It's not a good feeling. So Aussies, they like to eat early. They like to have their kitchens close early and plan ahead. Rule number 10 is don't rely on Google Maps in
oh yeah, no, like you either don't know where you're going, or you know where you're going because someone else has told you exactly where to go. The Outback is a labyrinth. You are not going to get there with Google Satellite or anything else like that.
Super rural areas. I'm talking if you are going into the Outback, not only do you need to be prepared driving the right vehicle, having backup petrol, plenty of water, sunscreen, food, safe places that you can visit, but you can't rely on Google Maps. You need to start getting good at
a lot of the time as well is because there's just a lack of internet, internet reception. You're gonna get zero. There's a lot of like highways and populated roads here that have 0 bars of like service, and that's just normal. And you learn where the dips are.
At reading maps, a real map that you can hold in your hands. You're probably thinking, Sam, what do you know? You haven't even been into the Outback yet, even though you've lived here for a year. It's true. I've been exploring the lovely cities and towns. It's very cushy and I'm enjoying myself. Don't worry, I definitely will be doing some Outback adventures when I'm back from my short stint in the UK this year. But I've got lots of Australian relatives via my Aussie wife who have told me all these stories about the Outback. I'm no expert, so check with as many.
I mean, look at this thing, bro. You either find that insanely cute or you're terrified.
Aussie locals as possible, what you need venturing into the Outback, but also make sure you can read a proper map. But if you want to find out 10 more secret rules that tourists keep breaking here in Australia, then go watch this video here. I promise you.
Maybe we will watch it at some other point, Sam. But that will be all for today. Thank you all for coming to watch this video. That was 10 rules you'll break in Australia without knowing. That was a pretty accurate list. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, it was pretty accurate. And I do agree with a lot of things, and there is definitely nuance to a lot of things, which is, obvious. But yeah, no, that was pretty dang accurate. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you around here next time once more.